Good evening and welcome back to Allergic to Stupidity. It's a Sunday afternoon. I can feel spring right around the corner, though we are getting another cold snap. But you know what? Old senior citizen friend of mine, bless her soul, once said, when February comes, the back of winter is broken. So it's right around the corner, and we'll have to see what February the 1st brings. Because the thing that's in the news and the thing that's on all our brains is right now is Donald Trump and the tariffs. I have to just been watching the news on and off, and yes, we're still all tired of Trudeau, and he needs to retire for multiple reasons. But now that he knows doesn't have to worry about making relationships with other leaders, he's a little bit more blunt with his body language. Because somebody asked him about Trump, and paraphrasing here, he's bluntly said if he'd be reasonable, he said, "We have so much to offer them. We've been trading partners for years and years and years." And it was just interesting to see that now that shoulder, that yoke of I have to say things properly because I am the leader of the country. So I have to watch what I'm saying because it can't, I don't want it to be taken the wrong way or whatever. Yes, he's still politically polite. And yes, he's still as polite as us Canadians are well known for. But it was just his body language screamed volumes like, God, here we go again. I had to deal with this guy last time, and here we're going again. So it's going to be interesting. It was interesting to watch him without having to worry about what he says because he's going to have to deal with him in 6 months, right? That part's gone. It's sort of like grade 8 classes going, leaving, they're graduating, and I've had a parent that I would like to just, no, because I'm still going to be polite to the parent, but I don't have to worry about making sure I say the exact right thing because I don't have to deal with them next year. So there you go. As the coffee, oh, my son made this strong. Wow. Um, as I'm drinking my coffee, one of the things I was doing when I was in the grocery store yesterday for that shop was reading the back of packages. And of course, I had to check for my coffee because I gotta have my coffee. And you hear any little meowing? Nobody's home, so I've just left the office door open so that little Missy can come and go. So you hear meowing, it's just Corby down there. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. So I was checking my coffee, and um, Folgers is one that my tenant will pick up for us because it's on sale quite often, and the other one's Maxwell House. Well, surprise, surprise, it didn't surprise me that they're both Canadian. They're both Canadian. They're both American, so that's not a problem. But I was thinking might be from another country simply because coffee is not grown in the U.S. that I know of. So I went into my cupboards going, I think I know of two that I have that aren't. And the first one is jumping bean. Now, if you are in Ontario, I don't know where you'd find it. I think occasionally I see it on Sobeys shelves, but not very often. Because this one's from Newfoundland, of all the places. And my third child always picks up a package of Screech jumping beans coffee for my son because it's flavored in rum, and he loves his rum. It's got a really nice flavor to it. It is lovely. So it's fair trade, which means they're paying the people that are picking the beans an honest wage. Now, it's not an honest wage, like it's not our $15 an hour minimum wage, but it's a good wage for the country they're coming from. All right? So I'm just going to get the glasses so I can read. Glen Cove Drive, Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. And there we go. Okay, so that's the east end of the country. But like I said, I can't get that very often down here. Once in a while, Sobeys will carry it. The other one is Kicking Horse Coffee, and it's from British Columbia, from the other end of the dear old country. And it's organic Arabic coffee. And this one also has it as not the biggest, most magical hand that nature can play. And somewhere I did read on this one that this one's organic. The one I've got, which is Grizzly Claw, is rich dark chocolate flavor to it. I did read someplace that it is free trade too. So, anyways, those are two. They're both Canadian, 100% Canadian companies. Obviously, they're working with other companies in different countries that grow the coffee beans, because obviously in our lovely Great White North, we don't grow coffee beans. Okay, so that's not a big deal. And it's fair trade. So there's ways, if you are a coffee drinker like I am and my son is in his house, that we can get our coffee without having to go through an American company. I am going to have to check my Tim Hortons coffee because that might cut back on my Timmy's cups. And the other one I've got, I started drinking this because my logic is, if you cut yourself, you put aloe. You take an aloe plant, you cut it, and you rub it on your injury, and it will help heal it because it has natural properties to it. And I saw this drink, and it's aloe vera. There's several marketers out there that make it. This one, it's OKF. It's out of South Korea. There's another one that's not out of South Korea, and it's not half as good as this. This one is really good. This one has the pulp in it. There's no preservatives. It's sweetened with fructose, sugar, and sucralose, which is that's not great. But anyways, it is South Korea, and literally Seoul. So there we go. There's a couple of drinks that you can have that are not, that you can have that are not made in the United States of America. And like I said, I'm boycotting the tariffs. And I'm only doing it for me. But as I'm running into people downtown or just chit-chatting online, I'm finding more and more people going, yeah, same damn thing. Okay? Like, this is ridiculous. And this is the one way we can do our little bit in our own little way. Like I said yesterday, every shovelful helps. Got to make it Canadian related here, guys. Every shovelful of snow helps. Every little bit takes it down. Stand behind our country. Stand behind our businesses. Go support the little guy. Right? Now, having said that, I was watching one of the videos. It was supposed to be live action, and this is where I caught it. And it does take practice to start noticing fake stuff. But he was videotaping and chit-chatting on the expulsion of the, quote, illegal immigrants. And the reason I'm going to say quote is they were showing about all the military that's coming in to take these guys away. And the planes they were showing to come in and take these immigrants away were fighter jets. No, it's going to be transport vehicles, transport planes, the same ones that transport soldiers to wherever they have to go. Those are going to be the planes they're going to be taking. Not fighter planes, not helicopters, that fancy military helicopters that do this. They're going to be transport planes. And I've watched one on CBC, had a article on it, the NBC, CNN, like they were all showing basically the same clip. And one of them was a gentleman who, he paused long enough to talk to the journalists. He said, don't try it. He said, if you can get the message down to people who are thinking about it, don't try coming up to the stage. Just don't do it. Okay? So why I'm quoting this is, let's not get caught up with those people who are wrapped up in extremists. They're doing it for the clickbait. They're doing it to get everybody alarmed. Let's stay calm, cool, and collected, guys, and look and watch from those sources that we know are reliable. Remember the chart I gave the other day, that we know we can basically trust it. Next, the other one I would lean to is go to those websites that are not American national ones. So go to CBC. Why? Because getting the immigrants out is not really as close to our hearts or as emotionally tightening to us as it would be for Americans, because it's not our country. The other one is France 24, BBC, DW, Fox out of Australia. Like, go to the ones that are in countries that are not immediately affected by this. Now, I understand, I've read it, seen it twice, have not been able to verify it, is the Mexican president refused to allow one of the transport planes to land, and so they had to take them back to the U.S. There has been a couple of transport planes landing in Brazil. So he's doing it. One of the problems with him doing this, and I'm not sure if you guys have read it, but everybody in this house is going, this is what's going to happen. We could see this coming. And we're sitting here in cold little Canada because a lot of his farm workers, especially in California, are illegal immigrants. The farmers know they're illegal immigrants. And they are getting paid less than minimum wage because they're trying to make a living. They're sending most of it home. And I don't think they're all illegals. Anyways, they're also terrified they're not going to work. There's citrus farms, orange farms, lemon farms, lime farms in California that have had to close down and they're stopped harvesting because they don't have anybody to harvest the fruit. So start watching your oranges. You're going to want to buy those oranges from Guatemala because the American ones are going to go more expensive because there won't be any. I don't even think I saw American oranges when I was in Freshco the other day, to be honest. But this is what's already happening, right? They're just so scared that they're just not going to work because their ICE, I don't even know what ICE stands for, but I know it's the guys going in for immigration to take people out. They're literally just raiding and taking out everybody. And it's like they have removed reports of having arrested people who legitimately had their papers to be there, but they're so scared that they're not. And this one I gotta check. I can't find it. I read it once. I can't find a second thingy, but because ICE is already in Chicago, Michigan, so just south of here on the other side of the federal border, these guys are just bundling up and heading up for Canada. I don't know what they're going to do when they get here, but they're already trying to escape the U.S. and come up here. And it's easier for them to come north than it is to waddle their way back down through all the states to get back to Mexico or wherever. So it's like, okay, here we go. Here we go. And it was Canadian Border Patrol. And he had somebody, it was just a white Caucasian, it wasn't an immigrant, come to Canada to find work because she was so disgusted with the U.S. she didn't want to live there anymore. And he's like, do you have this form? Well, no. She didn't know how to get to Canada. She get in the car and drive, but she didn't know how she could move to Canada. She had no idea how to do it. So she literally, what? That's a buzzer. So she literally just drove up and said, I want to come to Canada to work. And they went, you can't do that. You have to have a job. She was completely confused. Like she had no idea how to do this. She didn't know where she had to go or anything. So the guy said, I can do this and I can do this. This is what I am going to do. I am going to give you a 1-month visitation pass, which allows you to come into Canada to see if it's what you want to do, if you want to live here. And then at 1 month, you have to go back to the States. But I will give you 1 month. That's it. Because he could have arrested her right on it for trying to sneak her way into Canada. But he didn't. He said no. He said with the stress and the anxiety and all the rest of it, he said, I'm not doing that to her. So he let her come in for 1 month. And his was, by her body language, she honestly didn't understand. This was a complete misconception. She just thought she could come to Canada and then find a job, which, as somebody who's taught in other countries, it doesn't work that way. I have to have the job and I have to show immigration for that country, in this case, any of the countries in the UK, that I have a job that I'm coming to, and then they stamp it and everything else, and they will make sure I've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. And last time around, somebody checkmarked the wrong thing, and they checkmarked I needed a whole new visa instead of I was checkmarked the box that said I had a new sponsor, right? Like, both sides can't make this work. Anyways, so, and the other one was, there's a lady who had moved to Canada years and years ago. And she, I have a PC cat. I shouldn't have opened the door. Just a minute. Oh, there we go. So she come and visit today. So she had come to Canada years and years ago, and she is so disgusted by what's happening in the United States. She is saving her money and in the process of canceling her American citizenship. She has Canadian citizenship, and she's canceling her American citizenship. She said, I am disgusted that I could even plausibly call myself an American. And there's another gentleman who went to England years ago just to get a master's in math and then was offered a job. And he's from New Jersey. Cat's rearranged me. He's from New Jersey. He went to London, England to get his master's and then got offered a job. And he went, okay, I'll stay here for a couple more years for the fun of it. And after a couple more years, he went, yeah, I'm not going back. And he could rhyme off reasons why he wouldn't go back. He says, one, educational system's better over here. He said, B, healthcare is phenomenal over here. Though I do know Brits that, just like we in Canada, go, but, he said, racism is everywhere, but it's not as bad in the UK as it is in the US. And this is an American citizen telling me this. He said, yeah, he's using all the money he got from COVID to pay to get rid of his American citizenship. He said, I can still travel to the US. I got my British citizenship. I pledged myself to Her Majesty, now His Majesty. Like, there are Americans out there that are going, no, I've had enough. I don't want to. This is embarrassing. And what got me online today was, outside of I was planning on it, because I do my thing about coffee, was one of my little pet peeves, but I do get it. If you're not a snow person, I get it, is snowbirds. Canadians who fly down, they have a condo or they have a piece of property or they rent down in Florida to avoid the snow of the winter up here and the cold of the winter. And while December is pretty and all the rest of it, I will concede that minus 17 in this cold, wet kind of weather we get in southern Ontario, or the deep cold of minus 40, I can see if you're not an outdoorsy person or you're not somebody who can handle a cold, I can see why you do it. Anyways, he and his wife have been going down to the sunny state of Florida for 20 years. They just put the condo up. And why? A, he says, he'll be honest, because the value of the property is increased so much that it's a major financial gain. He said, but the final crunch is Trump's complete, utter disrespect for Canada. He said, how many of us snowbirds come down here and support their economy and buy their condos and bring tourism and everything else? And he's going to treat us like that? He says, no. My wife and I just looked at each other and said, yeah, that did it. We're gone. We'll deal with the cold. There you go. So one of my clients goes down for every Christmas. Didn't go down this year. So there you go. It's all starting to come together or fall apart. I do see this twice. He called the Dutch government to ask them about annexing Greenland. And one story says that they told him to F off. And the other one, which, having gone to university with a Dutch girl, would have been a whole lot more polite, which basically said, we don't have the right to give that away. It's a sovereign state, and it's up to the people of Greenland to decide. And he was upset. Like, he so used to being that business mentality that everything's got a price on it, that he couldn't comprehend. And people who were in on it he was livid. He could not. And so he's threatening them with tariffs too. It's going to be a wild ride for the next 4 years and a lot of digging out. And one economist said it's going to be tough, but Canadians will make it through. We will. It's what we do, guys. So there you go. So take care. Have a good day. Stay warm. I don't know where you are, but we have another cold spell coming. Only for 2 or 3 days. But that's okay. February is right around the corner. See ya.